Jay-Z and Puff had somebody write something up to say that they was trying to get a monopoly on the industry or coming up with federal charges and all kinds of, things that's happened to them. You seen it?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, we see the lineup. I'm just waiting to see who's next.
Jay-Z is setting Diddy up because he's the acceptable monster at this time.
As long as you are making money for the powers that be, you can do anything short of somebody watching you somebody. The moment you stop making the money for them, you have no intrinsic value.
Diddy and Jay-Z have maintained a close and mutually respectful relationship over the years. They have collaborated on various projects and publicly expressed admiration for each other's work, highlighting a strong bond within the music industry. But are the tables about to turn? People on the internet are saying that Diddy might have proof that Jay-Z is the one who has been working with the feds all along and may have even ordered raids on his homes. So what exactly is going on? Well, word on the street is that Jay-Z is allegedly involved in all the legal trouble that is happening in Diddy's life. In fact, one person who confirmed this was Jaguar Wright. In a recent interview, Jaguar made some strong claims, implying that Jay-Z played a role in bringing down Diddy. These allegations have ignited heated discussions and speculation in the music world. Jaguar, recognized for her frank opinions, didn't hold back as she talked about the supposed manipulation and exploitation in the music industry. During the interview, Jaguar raised crucial questions, probing the timing and motives behind Diddy's current predicament.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time.
During her candid conversation, Wright drew parallels to the handling of controversial figures in the industry, drawing comparisons to R. Kelly's downfall and hinting at an alleged pattern orchestrated by Jay-Z. And when asked about who might be next in line within this purported series of orchestrated events, Wright pointedly mentioned Sean Diddy Combs, suggesting that Jay-Z was setting him up for a fall.
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time.
Wright went on to detail a sequence of alleged manipulations by Jay-Z, referencing past associates and collaborators. According to her claims, Jay-Z had lined up figures like Damon and the late Notorious Big, supposedly stealing their life and identity. These accusations bring forth a complex narrative of betrayal and power dynamics within the music industry's upper echelons. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Beigel, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life identity, and took his love, Wright stated, painting a picture of calculated actions against key figures in rap history. The most shocking assertion made by Wright was her insinuation that Jay-Z's intentions extended to R. Kelly, another embattled figure in the music industry. He wants to be the one, she claimed, hinting at Jay-Z's alleged desire for dominance or control within the narrative of these high-profile incidents. So, is there any truth to what Jaguar is claiming? Well, at first glance, it might not seem like it because everyone knows that Jay-Z has had his fair share of run-ins with the law. One of the most notable legal incidents involving Jay-Z occurred in 1999 when he was arrested for stabbing Lance Rivera, a record executive, at a nightclub in New York City. The altercation reportedly stemmed from a dispute over bootlegging of Jay-Z's album. While the incident resulted in Jay-Z being charged with felony assault, he eventually pleaded guilty to a lesser charge of misdemeanor assault and received 3 years of probation. This event shed light on the sometimes volatile nature of the music industry and the pressures faced by artists like Jay-Z to protect their creative work. Another significant legal hurdle for Jay-Z came in 1999 when he was arrested in connection with a nightclub shooting. Although Jay-Z was not directly involved in the shooting, he faced charges of gun possession after a firearm was found in his vehicle. Ultimately, he pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of third-degree weapons possession and received a sentence of 3 years probation. This incident underscored the complexities of navigating fame and the need for artists to be vigilant about their surroundings to avoid being implicated in criminal activities. In addition to these high-profile incidents, Jay-Z has also faced legal challenges related to his business dealings. In 2007, he was embroiled in a legal dispute with a former business partner, Raynard Herbert, over the rights to Jay-Z's debut album, Reasonable Doubt. Herbert claimed ownership of the master recordings and sought compensation for his contributions to the album's production. The case was eventually settled out of court, highlighting the complexities of intellectual property property rights in the music industry and the importance of resolving disputes through legal channels. Furthermore, Jay-Z's business ventures have occasionally attracted scrutiny from regulatory authorities. In 2014, his acquisition of the music streaming service Tidal sparked controversy amid allegations of inflated subscriber numbers and unpaid royalties to artists. While these allegations did not result in any criminal charges against Jay-Z personally, they underscored the challenges of operating within a rapidly evolving digital music landscape and the need for transparency and accountability in business practices. But despite these legal setbacks, Jay-Z has never received any serious repercussions for breaking the law. This fact has led some people to wonder if his close connections to the feds may have helped him get out of trouble over the years. One of the most shocking allegations is that Jay-Z employed a well-known snitch, Desiree Perez, as the CEO of his company, Roc Nation. Prior to entering the music industry, Perez was involved in the game. In 1994, she was arrested in Miami for possession of 35 keys of Griselda Blanco's. But in exchange for the offer of 0 years in prison, the Roc Nation CEO agreed to wear a wire and became a federal informant for the enforcement agency. Perez helped the DEA lock up copious amounts of Hispanic Americans involved in the Miami and turned on low-level associates of Griselda Blanco, Fabio Ochoa, and even Pablo Escobar. Working with the police is highly frowned upon in hip-hop culture. With tracks such as F the Police and Ice-T's Cop Killer being so popular, it came as a shock to many when Jay decided to bring Desiree into his circle. In 2015, during an appearance on The Breakfast Club, Jay-Z's former Rockefeller counterpart Damon Dash told the hosts, "Once A.N. has certain friends, we don't even talk about him anymore where I'm from." He also stated it would be unlikely he would do future business with Jay-Z due to his connection to Perez. Desiree was the wife of Jay-Z's good friend Juan Perez, a Harlem native whom Jay-Z met in the 1990s and went into business with. Together, they opened a series of sports bars, including the iconic 4040 Club. Desiree acted as a promoter for these various clubs. With the help of Juan, she rose from a part-time nightclub manager to a record company executive. And in 2008, Jay-Z made her chief operating officer of Roc Nation. In 2019, she was promoted to CEO. Although President Donald Trump pardoned Perez of her crimes in 2021 and wiped her criminal record, Jay-Z lost the respect of hip-hop by hiring, entertaining, and promoting a well-known snitch who put people behind bars. Anyway, aside from hiring an alleged snitch, Jay-Z has also been called out by his former friends for selling them out. One of the most notable cases is when he allegedly betrayed his close friend DeHaven Irby. This betrayal had such a big impact on DeHaven that he warned all of Jay's closest buddies to be careful.
Jay to turn his back on me, you think Dame stood a chance? You think Jazzo stood a chance? You think Source Money stood a chance? You think all the rest of them, you think they stood a chance?
In a 2007 interview with Vulture, Irby revealed that much of the life Jay-Z rapped about, he didn't actually live. He insinuated that the Brooklyn rapper was a low-level dealer and nothing like the kingpin Jigga portrayed himself to be. "I'm telling you, he over-exaggerates. He was there to see things, but doing some big-time Frank Lucas type thing? No," Irby explained. "He nickeled and dimed, but nothing on a major scale. He definitely didn't sell nothing in Marcy. Spanish Jose, who he mentions a lot in his songs, was a friend of mine. Jay didn't have no affiliation to Spanish Jose." The former nose candy dealer even alluded to Jay-Z admitting that he appropriated Irby's life. "He's been talking about me since day one on a lot of his albums. He mentioned me on the Black album, and I hadn't seen him in years." DeHaven Irby has long been an outspoken critic of his former close friend Jay-Z. Upon his release from prison, he took to YouTube to air his grievances, detailing how Jay-Z had allegedly deserted him in 1998 when he faced federal conspiracy charges. Irby went as far as accusing the first hip-hop artist to achieve billionaire status of collaborating with the authorities. As far as the affiliation with him dealing with government informants, that's no secret at all. Do I think it's crazy that nobody brings that subject up? Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, of course they affiliating with them people, Irby said during an interview on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast. "The more I look at it and the more I understand it more and more, that's why I'm not a part of that. It seems to be clearer and clearer each time." It would have been impossible for Jay-Z to avoid doing prison time if he wasn't working with the feds, Irby said. "It's just impossible for me to understand how they don't have Jay and they got all these conversations with him. It just don't make sense. It'll never make sense to me." Another person whom Jay-Z allegedly sold out is R. Kelly. For context, in the wake of his sentencing to 30 years in prison for ST and racketeering, the disgraced singer recently filed an appeal in his New York federal crimes case. Documents obtained by TMZ revealed that the 56-year-old artist had put forth multiple arguments in in his bid to overturn his conviction, ranging from assertions of a potentially biased jury to claims of being misled about the ages of the minors he had relationships with. The appeal, filed by his attorney Jennifer Bonjean, sought to have the convictions reversed or to secure a new trial. Kelly's legal team contended that the government had failed to meet its burden of proof during the trial, despite the jury finding him guilty on all counts following nearly 6 weeks of proceedings. A key point in Kelly's appeal was the allegation that at least 2 jurors had watched Surviving R. Kelly, a documentary released in 2019 which featured accounts from his accusers. His lawyers argued that this documentary, funded by Jay-Z and allegedly provided to the jurors, could have biased their judgment, especially given Kelly's legal history with Jay-Z. Moreover, Kelly disputed the ages of the girls involved, claiming that some were at least 18 years old when their interactions with him began. His legal team asserted that in cases where the girls were minors, Kelly had been misled about their ages. Kelly's defense also contested the admissibility of certain evidence presented during the trial, arguing that irrelevant details about his personal life unfairly influenced the jury. They maintained that discussions about his history, preferences, and past relationships were prejudicial and unrelated to the charges he faced. Kelly also raised objections to the testimony provided by his former associates, alleging that they had misrepresented facts and testified on matters beyond their knowledge. Additionally, Jay-Z has been accused by some of his artists of abandoning them to rot in jail once they are no longer useful to his label. One of these artists is Casanova. Casanova, who was signed to Roc Nation in 2016, was charged with attempted in November 2021 and has been behind bars since. However, he says Jay-Z has not lent a helping hand even after he'd spent months back and forth on the case.
I think you get treated like a piece, like a dog.
In fact, after a month behind bars, the rapper actually had a statement revealing that he was in a tight spot. According to a statement released via Instagram on his behalf, which read, "I've been incarcerated for almost 1 year now, exhausted all remedies, and spent a significant amount of money on legal fees to prove my innocence. The charges against me are false. They don't represent or reflect the person that I am." The NY rapper added in his statement, "I'm calling on all the great people with meaningful and powerful voices to help me with this matter. If there's anything you can do to help, whether it's contacting my legal attorney to see that I played no role in this case, or having a private investigator look into actual role and not the alleged accusations against me. Considering that Jay-Z has eaten at the table of the American president at different points in the past, don't you think it's a little odd that his artist has to release a public statement asking for legal help? And if that's not convincing enough, there's also the fact that Tory Lanez, who was caught up in a legal battle with Megan Thee Stallion, had his own share of Jay-Z's power. According to Lanez himself, he got a call from Jay's record label, or should I say threat.
I get a call from Roc Nation that says, "Yo, we heard you're gonna make a statement about what happened, and it'd be in your best interest if you don't make that statement."
For context, Megan is actually an artiste under Jay-Z's Roc Nation, who also happens to be making big bank for them. So the label allegedly calling up Tory to keep his mouth shut is pretty much another form of proof that Jay has his hands deeply invested in controlling the narrative about artists. Diddy, on the other hand, has been relatively unscathed by legal troubles over the years, but that may be about to change. In a recent interview with Comedy Hype, Damon Wilson spoke about the raid that recently took place on Diddy's properties. According to Wilson, Diddy seems to have been thrown to the sharks because he is no longer valuable to the powers that be.
As long as you are making money for the powers that be, you can do anything short of somebody watching you somebody. The moment you stop making the money for them, you have no intrinsic value.
Now, although he did not mention any names, some people are convinced that among the powers that no longer consider Diddy useful is Jay-Z. As you might have already realized, Jay-Z's known for being ruthless and leaving behind his close associates to gain power himself. One key person that Jay left behind is Dame Dash. Dame Dash and Jay-Z looked like the ultimate hip-hop duo. It all kicked off with a chance meeting. DJ Clark Kent, a pal of both Jay-Z and Dame Dash, played a crucial role in getting them together. He sensed something special in the up-and-coming rapper and noticed a connection between him and Dame. Dame Dash, who was already managing a group called Original Flavor, hit it off with Jay-Z right away, bonding over their love for kicks. Before long, they were joined at the hip, their friendship cemented by their shared passion for music and their hunger for success. Their road to the top wasn't easy. Before they could make waves in the music biz, they hustled on the streets of New York, peddling Jay-Z's records out of car trunks and barbershops. It was a grassroots grind, mind, fueled by their drive to make it big. Jay-Z even popped up in one of Original Flavor's music vids, showing off his natural talent and charisma. Their big break came with Jay-Z's debut single, In My Lifetime. Despite some setbacks with a record deal gone sour, they refused to throw in the towel. Instead, they went all in, using their connections and street smarts to navigate the industry's twists and turns. Their persistence paid off when they snagged a distribution deal with Freeze Records and Priority, paving the way for the birth of Rockefeller Records. The name Rockefeller wasn't just a nod to riches, it symbolized their journey from the streets to the corporate world. Inspired by John D. Rockefeller, the first billionaire in the world, it represented their dreams of success, but it held a deeper significance, reflecting Jay-Z's past and the harsh realities of New York's. Contrary to common belief, Rockefeller wasn't built on money. It was a legitimate venture from the start, financed by the earnings from their early music endeavors. With their newfound independence, Jay-Z and Dame Dash aimed to shake up the music industry, carving out their own path to success. Their partnership with Def Jam Records changed the game. Instead of opting for a conventional deal, they struck a unique agreement that gave them unparalleled control over their music. By selling a portion of Rockefeller to Universal for $1.5 million, they kept ownership of their masters and secured a favorable share of royalties. This strategic move turned out to be a stroke of genius, propelling Rockefeller to unprecedented levels of success. Jay-Z's albums from Reasonable Doubt to Vol. 2, Hard Knock Life, dominated the charts, receiving both critical acclaim and commercial triumph. Hits like Big Pimpin' and Hard Knock Life, Ghetto Anthem, cemented his position as a rap legend, leaving an enduring imprint on the music scene of the 90s. Between 2002 and 2004, Damon Dash went on a tier starting companies, signing new artists and generally living the life of a super successful hip-hop mogul. He had amassed an army of mega-talented future stars like Kanye West, Cameron, and Beanie Siegel. Rockefeller had survived the 9/11 attacks, which happened the same day Jay's album The Blueprint debuted, Jay-Z's arrest on assault charges, and the tragic death of Dash's girlfriend Aaliyah. Rocawear had expanded to 5 different clothing and shoe lines and was bringing in $350 to $450 million per year in annual sales. Damon was even producing movies like the critically acclaimed Kevin Bacon film, The Woodsman. Fittingly, Dash lived a very opulent life that reportedly included butlers, private chefs, bodyguards, a mansion in Beverly Hills, a Tribeca loft, a $35,000 per month London apartment, and a $400,000 Maybach. Dash was also famous for only wearing his shoes, socks, jeans, and shirts once, before tossing them away. Unfortunately, all was not well with the one person who mattered most, Damon's most talented artist and business partner Jay-Z. Jay had increasingly grown tired of Damon's ever-growing ego and paranoia. The employees at Rockefeller, Def Jam, and Rocawear were terrified of Damon's never-ending temper tantrums over the smallest of issues. He fired dozens of talented executives and burned bridges left and right. For his part, Damon began to resent Jay's increasing distance from their company and new alliance with Def Jam honcho Lyor Cohen. Rumors flew throughout 2002 and 2004 that Damon and Jay were breaking up and no longer speaking. Tensions came to a head after Jay-Z and Kareem Burke refused to allow Damon to spend $3 million on a single print ad campaign for Armadale Vodka featuring Kevin Bacon and Naomi Campbell. From that point on, Jay and Damon really were not speaking anymore. Damon was also being excluded from many high-profile meetings at Def Jam regarding his own artists. The writing was on the wall. On December 24, 2004, Jay-Z asked his old friend Damon Dash to meet him at an Italian restaurant in Manhattan called Da Silvano. Prior to this meeting, the 3 Rockefeller founders had already agreed to sell their label to Def Jam for $10 million, but Dash was shocked by another piece of the deal that he did not see coming. Each partner would take home $3 million, but only Jay would be promoted to be the president of Def Jam. Even worse, Jay refused to allow Dash to keep the Rockefeller name. The final blow occurred when all of Rockefeller's artists were offered the option to stay with Jay at Def Jam or go with Damon to a new label of his own forming. Most artists, including future superstar Kanye West, chose to stay with Jay. The few artists who went with Dash to his new label saw their albums bomb on the charts, and the new record label venture quickly imploded. On the other hand, Damon and Jay were still connected via Rocawear. They each still owned 25% of the company. After the Kevin Bacon-Naomi Campbell fiasco, Dash was invited to a meeting at an upscale hotel room in New York. When he asked why they were meeting at a hotel room instead of the Rocawear offices, the partners replied, "So no one will hear you scream." By the end of the meeting, Dash was expelled from the company with a $22 million buyout that reportedly only resulted in $7 million in cash. Between 2004 and 2009, Damon launched and shuttered a string of failed ventures. His new record company, Rock La Familia, folded, as did the clothing line The Damon Dash Collection. Shockingly, by April 2009, Damon Dash, who had an estimated personal net worth of $50 million at his peak, was flat broke. Anyway, as for Diddy, he definitely is not innocent. He has been suspected of allegedly playing a part in the demise of Tupac Shakur and the Notorious Big. However, once you take a closer look, it seems Jay-Z benefited more from their absence than Diddy ever did. One artist who believes this to be the case is Cassidy. Recently, Cassidy spoke on The Art of Dialogue. He spoke on the influence of the Notorious Big and Tupac Shakur on Jay-Z, DMX, and Ja Rule. During the interview, Cassidy explained his stance on Big and Tupac. He said it's hard to diminish B.I.G.'s run in the game and said Ready to Die is a classic. Furthermore, he said it's hard for Jay-Z to get where he is without B.I.G.'s death. Why Cassidy said that is because Jay leaned into Biggie's style, the same way that both DMX and Ja Rule did with Tupac's style.
They ain't hear Pac and they ain't hear Big. They didn't hear the levels that they was taking it to and what they was doing. A lot of people that came after them wouldn't even have been able to do what they did.
In any case, Jay-Z has long been suspected of being a snitch and using his connections to take down his competitors. If these claims are legitimate, they could finally bring Jay-Z's true character to light. So, who will come out on top in this battle between two rap giants? Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure. The rap game will never be the same again. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.